Hello, everybody. James Bushell here, and we're doing a random, just out of the moment, a Song of Ice and Fire chat. So perhaps we might have some other people jumping in at some point, but right now it's just me and Christina. Introduce yourself, Christina.
I'm Christina the Sphinx, as usual, drinking the Arbor Gold, and I have some questions. I'd like some answers.
So we wrote down and have we don't really have a structure coming into this thing. So I guess, what do you want to talk about? Do you have anything particular?
Well, there was one subject since I've been rereading Feast Dance. Um, the whole Maiden's Day, Margaery Tyrell, virginhood, maidenhood situation. Do you have
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on Margaery's maidenhood? Because I'm completely confused.
It's like you're talking about, like, is she really a virgin or not?
Yes. I'm like stumped because I thought Cersei was setting her up, and then like more evidence came out and the moon tea and everything. I mean, I can kind of lay it out more in a clearer way, but do you have any thoughts off top about Marjorie and her maidenhead?
I know this has been talked about, and I know I'm gonna say yes, because remember, it was like Cersei's goal was to have one of the Kettle Blacks, I forget which one, but essentially seduce Marjorie and have her lose her maidenhead, and thus, Cersei having the upper hand in their power struggle that they were having. And she wanted her to cheat on Tommen. And I don't know for sure.
He never
If,
did it though.
I know they didn't do it. I mean, there's a lot of hints dropped that she's not a virgin. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I wrote a couple
But
things down.
well, go ahead then. What are they?
Let's see. So, after the accusations come forth, first Cersei has, I think it's Osney Kettleblack, go after Marjorie and try to seduce her, and it just doesn't work out. And I may have the wrong Kettleblack. I have to look that up. But
I get my Kettle Blacks mixed up. So
no, there's some, they're all the same. There's no difference to me. They're all just a Kettleblack. So she sent one to seduce her, and it didn't work out. And then eventually she was just like, look, she did the blue bar thing, had him confess, and was like, look, go tell the High Septon that you've been boning her. And he was like, but I haven't been boning her. And she was like, but tell me you have. And he's like, well, if I'm going to lie and say I've been boning a queen, then I want to bone a queen. So then she bones him, right? Like, okay, so bone a queen, you can bone me, and here it is. And then he goes and confesses, and then after getting his butt whooped, he confesses the truth, that he never touched Marjorie, and even that he killed the old High Septon. I didn't even know that. Did you know that? That she sent a Kettle Black to kill the old High Septon?
yes.
Damn. That was another thing. I was like, what? I had like no idea. So he confessed to like everything. And it came out that no, he had not had sex with her. Nobody has. Like, nobody has truly said that they have, except under duress. So,
See, I still think she's a virgin, because I just think she's pretty cunning, and a lot rides on her maidenhood. Like, the Tyrell standing relies on her maidenhood. So I think there's some hints to say that she's not a virgin, but I think that's the old red herring from old Georgie boy.
well, as I read on, she was examined by several septas, and her own septa even said that she did not have her maidenhead. But also Cersei said that it's not uncommon for a highborn girl to lose her maidenhead on a horse because they ride horses all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like, I mean, Cersei said that off top, like way before her plot even came to her mind. She was like, well, it's not, she could lose her maidenhead to a horse. And then later on, after she's been examined, they're like, yeah, she's not a virgin. And then, you know, it never comes up, but oh, she's highborn and she rides horses, like literally like every other day she's on a horse. And as a nurse, first of all, you can't really just look and tell if somebody's a virgin or not. And secondly, yeah, I had to stop myself from going into nurse mode when I was re-listening to this today, because I was like, really? Like, you can't just look in there and be like, oh yeah, I see the hymen, she's a virgin. Because some people, this is medieval times, so let me back up. Anyways, I was just really confused, because it was one thing for, you know, one septa to say she examined her and her maidenhead was gone, but then her own septa said it. So I was like, how many people does Cersei have on her payroll? Like, she paid off her own septa, or is her septa telling the truth?
Well, do you believe in this Grand Tyrell conspiracy? There's a theory, the Grand Tyrell conspiracy.
Lay it on me. I don't know about this.
Well, essentially, it's against the Lannisters, and that all these people are feeding Cersei false information on purpose, and that Taina Merryweather is actually would that be a triple agent, where she's employed by the Tyrells, spying for Cersei, but at the same time she's really spying on Cersei for the Tyrells.
I totally believe that. I totally believe that. I'm all in on the Taina Merryweather is not Team Cersei. She's Team low-down dirty trickster. Like, she's so up Cersei's butt with everything. And I've told my sister about this. Like, we've had conversations. I'm like, dude, are you noticing, like, how... I'm sorry if you hear the pop-ups. But I said, are you noticing how, yes, we know Cersei's crazy, so she says crazy things, and we're just like, yeah, that's Cersei. But for her to have another chick that's by her, like, yeah, you know, blah, 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 just egging her on, or also making Cersei's delusional comments make sense. Like, Taina is that person right there. And Jaime tried to tell her, like, you got this chick up next to you. She can't be trusted. And Cersei's like, oh, yeah, I know, but I'm telling her what I want her to go tell Margaery and blah, blah, blah. But in the end, Cersei ends up making this chick's husband hand to the king. And, you know, she keeps asking her to bring her son to court. And every time she does it, you know, Taina curves her. She's like, well, yeah, you know, but he's never known anywhere but home, or blah, blah, blah. Like, she's always got an excuse. And Cersei's just like, yes, 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 in due time. You know, like, she's completely freaking, God, I hate Cersei.
Well, I hate Cersei as an individual, but her POV is one of my favorites.
Oh,
her chapters are some of my favorites.
Yeah, I love listening to her POV, and I guess it just drives me more in my hate for her, because I'm so familiar with her, because I listen to it's so interesting, especially in Feast, because I'm so bored by some of the other storylines.
It's just fun seeing how dumb she is and how many mistakes she makes.
Completely delusional, like completely.
Like arming the faith. That was the worst.
It was hilarious, and it took me a couple times to go back and re-listen to it to see just how bad it was. You know, like, it was completely just idiotic. And the whole time she's like, oh, if father could see me now, or I'm your true heir. You know, she's so full of herself, and all she does is just F up time and time and time again. I enjoy it. That's why I love her chapter so much. Like, I enjoy hating her.
Yeah, it's just it's entertaining. It's like watching a car crash. Like, you're driving by a car crash and you just can't look away. But you know it's fucked up. But
Taina and Varys are from Myr?
Yes. That
I knew Varys was from the Free Cities.
What's that?
I knew Varys was from one of the Free Cities. Is Myr... Am I saying it wrong? Is Myr one of the Free Cities? I know it's in Essos, but...
Is what?
Is Myr one of the Free Cities?
Yes. Myr is one of the Free Cities.
Geographically, I'm not so much.
But, well, Varys is actually born in Lys, but he grew up in Myr.
Okay, that's
That's
why.
where he got cut.
Yeah, I knew he was born in one place and then ended up in another place, and then he met um, Illyrio in Pentos,
No, I believe they were both in Myr.
and then they
Or
ended up.
maybe it was in Pentos. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up.
That's another one of the plot lines that I need to really go back. There's just so much. Just when you think you have a handle on something, like there's so much more.
And there's definitely a lot of subtext that you miss. But let's answer a question from the chat here. From Mo Baby 1975. Says her theory is Jon is a theory of the Song of Ice and Fire. Do you think he'll be the final king, or do you think the common idea that Westeros will be totally in chaos?
Honestly, like that person means like one true king of 7 kingdoms.
Yeah, will he be the king of Westeros?
I don't think there's going to be a king. I think if anything, they'll be split back off how they used to be.
Yeah. Well, first off, hello, Mr. Teflon. Yeah. Second off, there's never been an indication that Jon even wants to be king. Like, he's never once said, I want to be king. I think he's Azor Ahai. I'm like 100% sure he's Azor Ahai, but that doesn't necessarily equate that he's king. I just think he's going to be the savior of the land, and he'll go down as a Bamf. Doesn't mean he's going to be king, though. And we'll see what happens. I personally think that maybe there won't be 7. Maybe there'll be 7 autonomous, kingdoms, their own kingdoms. Maybe the system will be broken, or something like that. We don't know, but I don't think Jon will be king. It's
not like
high.
In the same way that I don't think Littlefinger wants to be king. Like, I think some people the king is kind of like a figurehead in the way I see it. It's not like a person of great power. I mean, they are to a certain respect, but the people behind the king are the ones, just like the people behind the president. The president can't just walk up and be like, look, we're just going to murder all people that wear black. You can't do that. Like, other people in your squad have to like agree. You have to have a meeting. You have to have votes. In the same way for a king. So I feel like some people would rather be the person behind the person. For one, that's Littlefinger, and I feel like Jon is not a king because he'll always make the right decision for what's best, and kings can't do that all the time. They sometimes have to just do what is politically correct, and it's just not Jon. We've seen that, obviously, because he got killed by his peeps. So
now he does have the lineage of kings,
like
so maybe
of the North.
Yeah, he's got lineage of a Stark and a Targaryen. He's got the blood of kings of Winter, and
like a Song of Ice and Fire.
Maybe.
In his own blood?
I'm drinking Shiner Bock, Ricky Hunt. Ruby Redbird, to be exact. It's kind of mediocre, but hey, it's what I got in the fridge. So let's see here. Eric Flores asks, when Arya comes back to Westeros, will she meet Lady Stoneheart? Go for it, Christina.
We're talking books, obviously.
Yeah, talking books.
I don't know. I don't see any real benefit in that, but there's also been stuff that has happened where there wasn't a benefit, i.e. the whole Brienne conversation we were having earlier, James.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess, anything's possible. I don't see why it would help anything, because it would probably just be more traumatizing on top of the trauma she's already had.
Yeah.
Do you think there would be a benefit to that? Like, what would it help?
Well, it could be used as a device to show maybe how disconnected Cat is from Lady Stoneheart. Like, she can't even recognize her own daughter, maybe. But one thing, I mean, I do think it's a possibility that their storylines could converge, because obviously if there's a chance that if Arya comes back to Westeros, that, you know, she could go to the Riverlands to assassinate a certain Mr. Walder, Mr. Walder Frey, possibly. But I don't know. I'm not sure. For me, it's almost the hardest to project Arya's storyline. I don't know if you agree with that, but like, I kind of am not exactly sure where she's going.
Yeah.
I just know that eventually some people are going to die. I imagine some people are going to die in her storyline, but it's kind of hard to predict her storyline, I think. I don't know if you have any feelings about that, but I think it's pretty hard to predict her storyline.
Yeah, it's tricky for me because I feel like she has this natural rebel, right? She keeps messing up. Like, every time she's supposed to do something for the Faceless Men, like, she still ends up doing what she wants. Like, she's supposed to give up her identity, she doesn't. She's supposed to not kill somebody, she still does. So I'm like, if they send her off, even if they send her to the Riverlands on a mission, and if she runs into somebody that's on her freaking list, she's gonna kill him. And, you know, I'm like, I don't understand, like, is she going to do that? And then you can't escape the Faceless Men. Like, if they want you dead, you're dead. Like, that's their job. They're well known for killing people they want dead. So you can't just, like, run away. Like, oh, I ran away from the Faceless Men. Like, the same way you run away from the wall. You know, you're in the Faceless Men, you're in the Faceless Men. So it's almost kind of like she really can't go rogue, because they'll just kill her off. Or will they just let her keep doing her own thing? Or did they hire her because they knew she would do her own thing? You know, was it all a conspiracy to get her because they know she's a wild card? Like, I can't predict it. I can't call it. It's completely, like, out there. I can't even put it. I can't call it at all. Completely confused.
Let's see. I was looking back at something Mo Baby said about Sansa being pregnant. You know, I'm not sure. I know it doesn't make any sense. Like, logically, it makes no sense. I'm not putting anything past D&D at this point. Like, with them, I think anything is possible. It doesn't have to make any logical sense. I don't want her to be pregnant with Ramsay's baby. I don't want that to be the case. I'm not sure how that converges with her storyline in the books. Her situation from book to show is, like, one of the most baffling situations. Like, looking back at the books, like, I have no clue where these two storylines are going to converge from book to show. I don't know if you agree with that. So, like, anything we see now on the show with Sansa, like, I just don't know. Like, it's just it's a clusterfuck, to be honest.
Yeah, Eric Flores, moon tea all day, moon tea, boom. Like, you don't have to be pregnant and stay pregnant. Like, if anything that Sansa could get her hands on while she's at Winterfell married to Ramsay, it's probably going to be some moon tea, like, chugging it, like, all day, like, moon tea baths. Like, she's just, like, putting it in her food. But even, you know, moon tea aside, and that's just me, I don't think that she'll be pregnant. I just don't, again, I cannot predict the books in any kind of way, because George R. Martin is a genius of writing. I can't even call it. But for the show, I believe that she's going to take on the revenge arc. I truly believe that, and her being pregnant would just not fit into that. Like, we've seen enough. They already put her in the rape position. Like, we don't need also to put her in the pregnant position. The rape position was bad enough, and that was not her role in the books. Like, they moved her into that role. You know what I mean? So, like, they've already tortured her enough. If they wanted to give us, like, look how low Sansa got, like, I got it. You don't got to add a baby. Like, I get it. So I think that I really just don't think she's pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's Dressgate. That dress sparked some conversation. Really, it's that one picture where she has her, like, arms spread open, and she's, like, looking down, and she looks kind of sad. But, you know, who knows? We just gotta wait and see. I'm a wait and see kind of person. You know, I don't like to dive off the deep end too quick. More reactionary than, you know, proactive. But let's just take a wait and see approach with that whole situation.
That's all we can.
Yeah. So Tony asked, will Bran fly? If so, how? Obviously, I mean, I think he's gonna fly via warging somehow, either a dragon or, you know, he'll definitely fly in some regard. I think more metaphysically as opposed to his actual body, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Mental flight, taking off, visions, soaring into other planes and time spaces. That's how he will fly.
Yes, yes, yes. I believe it's Ricky Hunt asks, where is Gerion Lannister? Will he appear in the story again? You know, I don't know where Gerion Lannister is. You know, there's a theory that he's the Shrouded Lord, where like Tyrion when he was going through the Rhoyne, and he had kind of the connection with the Shrouded Lord, with the what are those bastards called? Those Stone Men. You know, the leader of the Stone Men.
Who's Gerion Lannister? I'm lost.
Gerion Lannister is Tywin's brother, who left to go find Bright Roar.
Oh,
lost in Essos.
That never came back.
Never came back.
Oh, okay.
There's a theory. Yeah, there's a theory that he's, and where Tyrion had this like connection with the Shrouded Lord when he was in the Rhoyne. You know, some people thought that he was maybe him. You know, there's a theory that maybe he's the Corsair King. I don't know. It's all theory. It's not something that I came up with my own, so I can't really speak on it. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts? I
don't really think he's. I guess. I mean, I just feel he's gone. I don't think he's anybody that matters to where.
Yeah, I think his importance is.
It's showing that they don't have a Valyrian steel sword. Like they tried to get it back and sent him, and you know he still didn't come back with it. For me, that's what I took from it. Like it just drives home the point that they don't have it, and the things that they've done to try to get one.
Well, I also think he's also important when they show, like, when they talk about him in the past, and how he kind of like shaped Tyrion's personality somewhat, because he was the one that was always laughing. Tywin was the one that was always dour, where Gerion was the one that was always like happier, and I think he had an imprint on Tyrion, and I think that's where his importance is like in reflection, as opposed to actually perhaps seeing him in the flesh in the future.
I did not like that Tyrion tumbling stuff. I don't know why it bothered me so much. Like when he would come like cartwheeling downstairs and stuff, and I was just like, what is this happening? Why did that happen? Like, I hated that part.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said though, I think his importance is more in reflection as opposed to any new things that are going to happen. He's like the Lannister version of Uncle Benji, except he's been gone longer and he's probably dead. Benjen might show up again. I don't think Gerion will.
You think he'll be back? Benjen, not Gerion.
Benjen, I think Benjen will be back. I think he'll. I don't know. It's been 4 fucking books since he's been in it, and like 5 seasons. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I like Benjen. I like Benjen. So.
I liked him too.
Let's see. I think I saw a question if Big Kev 619 SD asked if there will ever be a dragon. I'm guessing he's asking if there will ever be another dragon as opposed to Dany's 3 in the show.
That's a good one. How awesome would that be?
Well, there's a lot of speculation on the ice dragon.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure you've heard the ice dragon theories.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty valid, and I think we will see a big ass ice dragon breathing ice on these and wreaking havoc. And
tell me about it. Where's it come from? Where's it been? Why is it ice? What is it? Tell me about it.
Where has it been? I think maybe it's under the wall. I don't remember the exact details of the theory. Like I said, I didn't come up with it on my own, so I'd have to re-examine it. But one thing we know that George R. R. Martin essentially created the ice dragon, like first ever one in fiction. Essentially, he came up with a book in like the 70s, I believe, called The Ice Dragon or something. It was like it was a children's book. So you're the, you're the creator of this thing. You have a mystical race of people, that are adept with manipulating ice. You created the ice dragon. Therefore, I think there's going to be an ice dragon somehow in the story. I don't know exactly. Okay, see, Tony's saying Bloodraven has the egg for the ice dragon, and I think that's very probable.
Wait.
I remember there was something about Bloodraven from, I don't know, was it in the Duncan Tale, the Duncan egg stuff? He has an egg. I know he has an egg. I don't remember the exact details of how he has an egg, but he has one.
And you know what? There were some eggs that concerned me during the Duncan Egg Tales where I was kind of wondering, like, a few of those eggs sound very similar to Daenerys' eggs.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, what happened to all these eggs? Like, everybody had one. There were eggs, like, willy-nilly back then.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you wonder, but what would make a regular egg into an ice dragon egg?
Yeah, I mean, it is, I think it's very probable that we're going to get an ice dragon.
I need to read up on the ice dragon because I just don't understand it, so I don't buy into it because I don't understand. I've heard like it's under Winterfell, it's kind of just hanging out, just waiting to be woken up.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to understand more, like, why is it there? What is it in the first place? If it's not like a regular dragon, then what is it? Like, it's the only first of its name, first of its kind? Like, there's no other ice dragons, just this one? And if so, then why this one? And why, what's it waiting on? I just need answers. I need answers.
There, I'm going to read some things here. All right, it says, an ice dragon is a legendary species of dragon. Ice dragons were said to roam the Shivering Sea and the White Waste. Reportedly, they were far larger than the dragons of Valyria. Ice dragons are said to be made of living ice with eyes of pale blue crystal, very translucent wings, and breath of cold. There is a constellation of stars named the Ice Dragon to the north. Its blue eye points north. Yeah, and Old Nan used to tell tales of ice dragons. And we know Old Nan.
Yeah, she's on the money.
Yeah, so I think we're going to get one. The exact parameters of how and why or whatever, I'm not exactly sure. Even what's the ice dragon going to do? Who's the ice dragon be in conflict with? Who's the ice dragon for? Is the ice dragon for itself? Is it with the others? Is it with Bloodraven? Is it being warged by someone? We'll just have to wait and see. But I do think we're getting an ice dragon.
In the book or the show or both?
Book. Maybe in the show. I don't know.
I mean, we both get regular dragons in the show, so adding an ice dragon might be too much.
Ice dragon might, in what regard, too much for like the people?
CP-wise, and also general understanding of people who are just casual watchers.
Well, they did have a little wooden girl throw fireballs, so if they want to put an ice dragon in, they'll put an ice dragon in.
Pew pew pew.
Yeah, that was the dumbest shit I've seen, I think, up there. Anyway,
I hadn't read the books until after that, and then I was just like, wow, that was so not called for. I really enjoyed it as a show watcher. I was like, yeah, there's like super fire shooting kids in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Then I read the books and I was like, oh yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, Eric, I remember Jon mentioning the ice dragon. I think I need to go through, a search of Ice and Fire, type in ice dragon Jon Snow, and see what pops up and read a little bit more on it.
Oh, so Tony Teflon's saying, like, basically the White Walkers are no threat without the ice dragons. So that would literally like be the ice and fire conflict is the fire dragons versus the ice dragon.
Mm-hmm. So then he thinks that the ice dragon is in cahoots with the others, essentially.
Will Jon ride the ice dragon and Daenerys rides the fire dragon?
No, I'll be going for Jon.
I will too. stand Daenerys now. I used to love her so much, but she just irks my life. Swear. She doesn't leave Meereen, like, in the next 5 minutes, I'm done. I'll just fast forward and flip past everything that has to do with her, because I'm so over it. Wear me out.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to look through the chat here.
Arbor Gold.
Looking through the chat here, yeah, that was some good points, Tony, about the Ice Dragon. Yeah, I do hope one Ice Dragon beats 3 Fire Dragons. I'd be down with that for sure.
It'll probably be bigger, right? And like way like more ferocious.
Yeah, well, like I just read that the Ice Dragons were definitely greater in size than all the Valyrian dragons.
Wow. That is kind of exciting. I need to look into that more, because I was always just been like, Ice Dragon, I don't even know what that means. But I mean, that sounds pretty cool.
Uh-huh. We'll have to see how it all turns out. You know, I'm like I said, I'm not one to theory craft that much. I'm more of this happens because I'm also an accountant. You know, it's like I'm an analyzer of what I see, as opposed to having the creative juices necessarily to come up with these, you know, crazy ideas that are probably, you know, that are definitely sound. But yeah, I'm a facts man. I'm an analyzer.
I just like a good story, and so sometimes when it seems like something just doesn't help the story or feed it in any way, I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand. There's lots of theories out there, and people will like build this whole scheme, and it starts here and comes right back around, and I'm like, but what does it change the story? Like, if that's true or false, like, it doesn't matter, because we're still moving on, and it really, as far as we know, doesn't affect anything. So I keep having to check myself and be like, wait a minute, does this matter? Like, would this matter? Could it matter? Should it matter? And that's where I have to pull my brakes up, because my imagination, I'll be gone. Like, yeah, it's all like the dragons are going to take over, and that just reminded me of another question. Okay, here's a question. Here's a question for you and for everybody in the chat, because I've asked myself this several times, and I still can't answer it for myself. So, if all the Targaryens are wiped out, and there's only 2 left, a boy and a girl, why don't they marry each other, Viserys and Daenerys, and make more Targ babies? Help me.
Well, I mean, I know that Viserys needed Dany to marry Khal Drogo, so he had an army to go back to Westeros with. If he would have married Dany, what would that, you know, how would that help him in this situation now? Maybe they could have got married if they were both, if the Targs were still in place in Westeros as kings, and they didn't have this need, you know, for an army to go back. You know what I'm saying? If they got married, popped out some Targ babies, well, there's some Targ babies, some random Targ babies out there in Essos, and they're still not accomplishing any goals.
Random Targ babies.
Yeah, so.
But what I don't understand is, like, if it was, I just put myself in that mindset. Look, we're these mighty Targaryens, like, they wiped us out. We're the last 2. And we're down with brother and sister marrying each other, and I'm a boy and she's a girl. I just don't get, like, why he wouldn't be like, yo, let's get, you know, we're gonna marry each other, we're gonna start making new Targ babies, and we're gonna take it over like the Targ way. And I know it made sense to marry her off for Khal Drogo's army, but I just didn't understand, like, as important as keeping bloodlines pure to them are in the first place, and then, like, you have a female and a male together. I just didn't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't get it. Because you can get an army anywhere. I know they didn't have anything, but, you know, anything can happen. Fantasy world. You know, you can come up on an army any kind of way.
Well, they didn't, so. I don't know if there's an explanation why. I thought, you know, maybe my explanation kind of made sense, but I do remember that Dany thinking that she would marry Viserys, and didn't end up that way, though.
She was expecting that she would marry him, and then it didn't happen. And she
And
was
then
like,
he
what?
sold her off to Khal Drogo.
It was just, I don't know. I think it all could have went in a whole different way if they had just wed each other. They had Illyrio backing them financially. I know that they had been begging it, in the streets up until this point, but at that moment, like, they had somebody helping them out. Illyrio wasn't trying to kick him out. Like, he was like, yeah, I got you guys. Stay here and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know. I just didn't get it. It still bothers me to this day.
Well, see, I don't know. I remember Viserys, obviously, he had he made some kind of advances on her sexually, but I don't remember anything from Viserys saying anything about marrying her. I just remember, obviously we'd have his POV, but we had Dany's POV, and I do remember her saying that she thought she was going to marry him, but there was nothing ever concrete, obviously.
He could have had her he could have married her. It was his choice. Like, he was the big brother over her. There was nobody else. He could have been like, yeah, we're going to get married.
Yeah, it also could be, some other underlying conspiracy with Illyrio. Maybe he probably convinced Viserys, no, you and your sister shouldn't get married. This is what you should do. He probably got it, he got him in contact with Khal Drogo. There's probably some kind of conspiracy, maybe, that was put in motion by Illyrio.
Wait, Paul says they're not really brother and sister. It's all part of the Dornish master plan. What?
Well, that's a possibility. I don't know.
Plus L equals D?
I personally don't subscribe to that stuff. I don't subscribe to that theory personally. I think Dany is just Dany and Viserys was her brother. I do think that. But hey, we can all think what we want to think. But you entertain these folks for a second. I'm gonna grab another beer.
Okay. Hi, hiking. I see you. So I have a question. I don't think we talked about this while we were live. Did we talk about Margaery, you guys, in the chat? Margaery and her maidenhead? Because I have some questions. I'll tell you now what my question is. Is Margaery a maiden or nah? I was re-listening to Feast today, and there's so much evidence saying that she's not, but I thought when I first read through it that Cersei was setting her up, but her own septa examined her, says she's not a maiden. A septa from the High Sparrow examined her, says she's not a maiden. But yet and still, when Cersei surrounded her with spies, nobody could say that anybody was ever had the chance to be with her. And even the guy that she set up to seduce her didn't succeed. So I was like, if she's not a maiden, like, who was hitting it? And also, Cersei said that you can lose your maidenhood riding a horse. I'm back on the Margaery thing, James. I'm sorry. But it's really...
How do we get back on this?
I'm sorry. I need answers. I don't get it. I don't know if it's real or not. She's been diddling around.
Mm-hmm.
Did he really, Ricky, in the show, he said she's not a maiden?
I don't remember that, but I don't really pay attention. When Stannis isn't on screen, I'm just kind of like... So I guess I'm gonna be like that from now on, I guess.
Aww.
I won't remember shit from the show.
I know who you're gonna back now that Stannis is gone. What are you gonna do with your life?
I will.
Jon Snow.
I'll be watching some Starks, I guess.
Next best thing.
I'll still be sleepwalking through the Tyrell scenes. I'll be sleepwalking through Dany scenes. I like Arya, so Arya, Jon Snow, Bran, Rickon. I guess that'll be my crew.
What area are you looking forward to the most?
Well, in the books, it's the North.
In the show?
I guess Arya stuff.
Really?
Kinda, I guess. I want to know what the Faceless Men are all about. There's this conspiracy with, there's the Faceless Men, Bank of Bravos, maybe the Maesters are involved somehow. You know, Old Town. I don't know. It's just all pretty crazy. I'm also in the books. I'm also looking forward to Old Town.
Yeah.
And, Old Town, the North in the books, in the show. I'm looking forward to Old Town. I want to see what's up with with Euron. See how they portray him. I'm hoping he turns out pretty good. So I'm actually looking forward to some Iron Island stuff. You know. So
it's bad because I have no interest in the Iron Islands. I have to make myself pay attention to that. And I really feel bad about it because they're not like bad. I mean, they're bad, but you know, like I just have no interest, and I have to make myself focus and pay attention. It's like my ADD kicks in right when the Ironborn come around.
Mm-hmm. But I'm not the hugest fan, but you know, I do like Victarion. He's not in the show, obviously. I wish he was kind of in the show. I mean, I don't really like him that much, but I do think he's kind of a badass who lost to Stannis, by the way.
Who's badass? Euron?
Victarion.
Yeah, we're not going to see him though, right?
He lost to Stannis. Naval battle. What's that?
We're not going to see Victarion?
He's not in the show. I think they're going to kind of combine elements between Euron and Victarion. But yeah, going back. What's that?
I was just going to say, if there was one Greyjoy I want to see, it's Victarion.
Yeah. Yeah, and Eric, I think it's pretty much a slam dunk that the Faceless Men and the Iron Bank are working together, actually. I don't think it's I think it's a slam dunk.
You think they're working together?
Yeah. There's connections. There's connections.
Well, yeah, duh. If the bank's not being paid, they need people to pay their due. They can send. Who else can afford a Faceless Man?
Well, on the show, apparently anybody.
Well, who do we know in the show has bought a Faceless Man? Who do we know?
The one fisherman guy.
What?
To kill the one sailor guy, to kill the guy that Arya was supposed to poison with the oysters. You don't remember that?
Yeah, I know the guy she was supposed to poison.
Yes. It was like a sailor, it was like a sailor guy that was trying to hire them to kill her.
Oh, you're saying because that guy not have been able to afford them.
Right.
But I guess they also make mercy kills too, right? Like if you're a total asshole, they'll help you out.
Let's see here.
Well,
Jake Cruz. I'm still going to be cheering for Davos. Obviously, Davos is out of the characters that are still alive on the show, is my favorite character on the show. But I'm talking about in terms of like backing for like actual huge political gain, I guess. Well, I guess Arya doesn't have anything to gain politically, but yeah, I'll be cheering for the Starks and Davos. And I do think Davos is gonna be backing up Jon in the show. So I don't know if that's gonna happen in the books. Maybe. I don't know. But I guess we'll wait and see on that. Do you have another question?
Now I'm looking through, like, there's a lot of good questions in here. Pick one.
I'm trying to look through here.
Are we going to get the damp hair? I feel like we already have the damp hair. I don't think they said that that's who it was, but that's him, right?
You're talking about the guy that was, like, pouring the water on Theon in, like, season 2?
Yeah, I feel like that's him.
It was implied pretty much. I hope they bring that actor back and they kind of say, hey, I'm Aeron Greyjoy. I hope they do that.
Yeah, I know we didn't say it before, but yeah, I'm totally the damp hair, and here I am. I've been here the whole time.
Yeah, because, you know, he helps showcase some of the conflict with the Greyjoys, within the Greyjoys. Obviously, you know, he's anti-Euron, being the fact that Euron isn't a godly man or whatever. But, see, I don't know how that whole dynamic's going to work because you don't have Victarion. Because you had the Euron versus Victarion kind of angle with Asha thrown in. So,
but you don't actually need it. Like, they don't need Victarion. They just really need the Asha and Euron conflict. Because Victarion really didn't even... I mean, honestly, Asha didn't stand a chance either. Like, they thought they had a chance. But once he showed... You know, Euron showed up, it was a shoo-in. So really, you know, you could wipe either one of them out. And we already have her, so we don't need to add him.
Mm-hmm. William Barton in the show. What two known characters do you think Ramsay will kill?
Oh yeah, they said he's gonna kill somebody we know, right? And burn them alive.
I heard a leak that I don't want to really discuss because I don't know if the leak is true or not. I don't know. Do you think I should discuss it?
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know.
I mean, I don't know if this is a. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to hear this, but
if you don't hear it, say something now before we discuss it.
But it sounded like when Jon's gonna be coming, Jon's gonna be coming with the wildlings, obviously, to march on Winterfell, and there's gonna be like a first kind of battle, and that they're gonna be kind of losing, and then at the end, when it looks like all hope is lost, Peter Baelish is gonna come with the Knights of the Vale. Oh, yeah. And that's gonna turn the tide of the battle. But before then, I heard something maybe that Tormund is one that gets captured and killed by Ramsay.
That's probably so going to happen because I love him. I can totally see.
Yeah, and I also did hear that Pod is going to die too.
It makes sense.
Yeah, and then I guess like Brienne feels guilty about it or something, but I did hear that Pod is going to die.
I hate Brienne's storyline in both the show and the books. Like, why do they do this to me? Why do you have to suffer through it? But yeah, I could totally see Podrick and Tormund, and that's how they're going to hit us in the heartstrings because we love them both. Like, I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I freaking love Pod and Tormeezy. Those are my dudes. Yeah, I could totally see it because I don't know who else they could kill that wouldn't be like completely traumatic, like fracturing traumatic, like Robb Stark or Ned Stark type, Catelyn Stark type murder where it's like, oh my God. But somebody that we know, yeah, that totally fits. I don't want it to be them. Mm-hmm. Do you think Pod is dead in the books?
Who?
Podrick.
Pod? I think he's alive right now. Like, I don't think he died there at the end.
You think Bran saved him when she said whatever word it was that she said?
Yeah, sword. I think she saved him in time.
Is it sword? Is that the word?
Yeah, she said. Well, that was implied that she said sword. But yeah. Patrick Snow. Yeah, I hope they don't kill Davos either. Obviously, I mean, Davos is my dude.
I'm sorry. I just scrolled up and he said, who said that? Eric Flores, Rickon, and Asha.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Tony saying that in our season 6 prediction video. I don't know. I think we'll just have to take a wait and see approach.
Tony, Teflon for real. Like, do you think they're gonna bring Rickon back and kill him just like boom, or anybody else? Like, you guys think that? Like, they're gonna bring him back after all this time away and then kill him?
I don't know. We'll just have to take a wait and see approach. Like I said, hey, season's starting in April. There's gonna be people who are gonna die. I mean, people are gonna die. We'll just have to see who it is. And I say Tormund and Pod. Well, I say Tormund. Yeah, Tormund and Pod, and we'll just have to wait. We'll just have to see who's right. And really, is anyone right? No one's right because we don't want to see any of these people die. I don't anyway. I like Tormund. I like Rickon. I like Asha. Well, Yara. I don't want to see anyone die, but if people are gonna die. So
they are gonna die. We know that much for sure. If we know anything about this series, people are gonna die.
Tony says it has to be someone Jon cares about. I do think that he would care if Tormund died. Him and Tormund seem to have developed a bond on the show. But like I said, in
that Mance role, or not the, you know what I mean? Like when they burned Mance, they didn't have the skull dude. What's his name? Help me, James.
Rattleshirt.
Rattleshirt. They like wiped out Rattleshirt for that whole part and just like slid Tormund in there. So maybe they did that to help us like connect more with their bond because FYI, when Jon and Tormund were having their conversation and Tormund's like, yeah, you can say that to me because I'm in chains, and Jon like took off his chains, and then Tormund stand up, I was like, they both can get it.
Oh, and just for clarification, Pack Mule, I don't think in terms of these two people that Rams are going to kill, I don't think Pod is one of them. I just heard that Pod is going to die, not necessarily by Ramsay. I just heard something that he's going to die, and then like it affects Brienne greatly, like on their way to Last Hearth, like they run into some guards or something, and then he dies by an arrow. So if that happens early in season 6, then we know that my leaks were right. I had a bunch of leaks, and we'll find out pretty early if they're right or not. Here's some other. Let's see some other questions. Did Euron molest Damphair? Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think it's pretty explicit that he did, because he had, what was it, the doorknob thing,
like creaking sound or whatever.
Yeah, I mean I think it's definitely some like PTSD or whatever, and that Euron probably did, and Euron's a dick, so
they won't have that in the show though.
No, I don't think so. Let's see. I thought I saw another good thing I wanted to bring up. Stannis. What's that?
Paul says Rickon is the most powerful warg, in my opinion. He spent the most time with his direwolf. But I kind of think that Bran has also spent like a great deal of time with his direwolf.
Yeah, I don't believe. I think it's pretty implicit that Bran is the most powerful warg. He's the last green seer. I don't think Rickon's the most powerful warg.
Because Bran's not just a warg, he's a skin changer. And we don't know if the other Starks are skin changers, right? They're just wargs.
Well, he's the last green seer. I mean, he's the most powerful. It's I don't think Rickon has. If Rickon is supposed to be the most powerful warg, I think he would have been featured more in the story, as opposed to just like being gone for 3/4 of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we would have seen something that showed us that, right?
Yeah, but hey, that's your opinion, man. I respect it. So.
Can I speak on another question from Ricky Hunt?
Sure.
Will we get Val in the show? I freaking hope so. She's my #1 most wanted character from the books that we have not seen. And I thought that we were going to see her at Hardhome, and it was not her. Totes disappointed, but if they bring her, I promise. Like, I don't even care. She could show up anywhere. Like, she could show up in King's Landing, and she's like, I'm Val, the Wildling. And I'll be like, yay, Val. I don't even care. I want Val. I hope so. I'm praying for it. Moving on.
Yeah, you got any other questions that you see in there?
What will Rickon do in the show? I don't see the need for him, from Tony Teflon. Okay, here's what my need for him, or what I see his need will be, is to be the wild balance to Sansa. When they get together, she's gonna be pissed, and she's gonna take on her Lady Stoneheart revenge arc, but she still has a good heart. Like, we've seen that. They showed us that. She's not some evil, vengeful witch. But Rickon is a wild, like, crazy man. So I feel like the two of them together, and then maybe Jon Snow kind of balancing some little tidbits in the middle. I think that Rickon is a Lord of Winterfell, and Sansa will kind of serve as his regent, so to speak, and they'll kind of play off each other. That's why I feel like he'll be back. Like, he's the Lord of Winterfell. Bran is off wherever. We don't know. They don't know. And when Rickon comes back, they're like, dude, you're here. Bam, it's you. You're the Stark in Winterfell. And you have a girl sister, and she can help you.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. I think maybe just have the family back together, but we'll see. Now I'm assuming, Tony, you're talking about Makaro's quote when he was talking to Tyrion. He was like, when he said, dragons old and young, true and false, bright and dark, and you a small man with a big shadow snarling in the midst of it all. Is that what you're perhaps talking about, Tony? There's a little delay, but I'm assuming.
Say that one more time for me, because I want to hear what you said, though. What'd you say?
All right. Well, there's a quote from Makaro. What's that?
I just said, what's your question?
Oh, well, Tony was asking about the dragons that Makaro was talking about when he was talking to Tyrion.
Mm-hmm.
And the quote was, "Dragons," Makaro said in the common tongue of Westeros, "dragons old and young, true and false, bright and dark, and you. A small man with a big shadow snarling in the midst of it all." So I'm assuming that's kind of the angle he was going with. I was just saying, like, see, obviously with Makaro's visions, they're a lot more truthful. They seem to be more spot on than Mel's visions or whatever. So I'm not sure if he's talking about, maybe he's talking about specific Targs. I don't know. You got old Maester Aemon, young Dany, true, maybe Aegon, the true heir. I don't know. Bright Viserys, you know, he had the golden crown. Dark Jon Snow. I don't know. I don't know if that's what he's talking about. I don't know if I'm kind of talking on my ass here, but
Aegon is a whole nother conversation. I would like to just ask a general question about that. Just like, what do people think? Because before I read the books or even knew, I just heard people said Fagon. Like, they just referred to him as Fagon. And I was like, what does that mean? And then when I read all the way through, I was like, oh, Aegon, like there's Aegon. So what is the general consensus of everyday readers? Like, what do you guys think? Like, do you think that Aegon is Aegon Targaryen? Or is he a random Blackfire? Or does it even matter? I don't think it matters, TBH. It doesn't matter to me. A dragon is a dragon, red or black.
I've had a lot of thoughts on Aegon. There was the point that Viserys, while he was killing Kevin, he brings up Aegon, and he tells him the story about how Aegon is really a true Targaryen, and how he's the one that sent him away and all this stuff when they were getting killed. And I thought to myself, why would he tell a lie to a dying man?
Exactly.
But then I thought to myself, well, this is King's Landing. Varys is smart. There could be people in the hidden rooms. Maybe he just didn't want to give it away. I don't know. But when it comes to Aegon, I don't know. I don't know. Do you think he's a fake, or do you think he's real?
I think we'll never know, so it's kind of pointless. That's one of those things where I'm like, it doesn't even matter, because who can prove it? You got DNA, you got some blood tests, it doesn't matter. But if he fits the bill and looks the look and can slide into the role, then he is what he is. So if he's a Blackfire or a Targaryen and he has enough people to support him, and if the Lannisters have completely destroyed King's Landing like they're going to, freaking Cersei, all they need is somebody to come in there and just, hey, look, we're back. The Targaryens are back. I know y'all been suffering, and this chick's crazy, and we're good. We're back. I'm Aegon. Remember Aegon? Remember my great-great-great-grandpa? It's me. I'm just like him. We're good. I just feel like that's what it's going to be. It doesn't even matter. He has the look, and who can prove that he's not? Who can prove that he's not? He's got John Connington, literally with him. It's like Helen Reed being the only person that can prove that, Jon Snow is a Targaryen.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thoughts.
Going back to the dragons, I was also thinking the old dragon that Makaro was talking about could be Bloodraven.
Oh yeah, that's an old ass dragon. Know that much.
Could be possibly Bloodraven.
But he's not a dragon rider. I guess you can call any target dragon, anybody with the blood or the seed.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Kraken! And Don Willi, yay! Turn up.
Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of way to interpret that. I'm not exactly sure what it's going to mean in the end. With Tyrion's significance and all this, but hey, Makaro is definitely more reliable than Mel. We can agree to that.
Don Willi said Starks are kneelers. That is not true. You are a liar, sir. You are a liar.
Yeah.
Starks are not kneelers.
So yeah, I guess it does make sense that the old would be Bloodraven. True is probably. I don't know. Who the hell knows? You have any ideas?
Honestly, I don't. Like, that's one thing I just don't. There's so much to consider. Jesus. That's why I would take notes.
Yeah.
Check a question before I find one of my own.
I saw one. Oh, about Rickon asked if Stannis will win the battle in the North. I used to think so.
Oh, who brought up Stannis? Who did that? Who did that? Ricky, I know you know better. Like, okay. 30 minutes.
I used to think so, but the show fucked up my perception. But how much is the show different from the books? Very different, obviously. I still think it's possible that Stannis wins the battle in the North and then some shit goes awry afterwards. But I don't know. I used to think slam dunk, Kobe from the corner, that it was for sure Stannis was going to win the battle of the North, but then the show just fucked up my perceptions of everything.
I'm sorry.
Hello, Mr. Tony Toka. And apparently Don Willi, everyone's a kneeler.
The Bravosis are kneelers. The Starks are kneelers. Greetings to everybody. We're all kneelers. He's a kneeler. I don't even know what house he's loyal to, FYI. He's suspect.
Well, I think Tywin's his favorite character, so.
Well, I could get behind that. I like Tywin. He's on my can get it list.
William Barton asks, will Sansa finally shed the victim role and possibly take on some of the Lady Stoneheart role? I know you're all about that.
Yes. Capital YES exclamation point. Yes. I mean, look at what she's been through. Totally, like, it's all been set up for this. Not completely crazy evil, like, has no reason, but definitely come across a fray in the forest, they're getting hung or hanged.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will say this, though. I think it's a possibility we still get Stoneheart this season with Jaime going back to the Riverlands.
Why would we get Stoneheart, though? Like,
it doesn't make any sense. It's like the statute of limitations have already passed, but D&D defy logic. D&D defy logic, and I just feel like, why are they sending him to the Riverlands now? There got to be a payoff for the reason to turn him
to
the Riverlands.
Like, he's out of... Yes.
They should have sent him back in season 4, and they should have had Stoneheart in season 4. I will agree to that.
Well, he's out of... Also, the Siege of Riverrun is happening now, so it kind of... Maybe they timed it out on purpose, but...
I'm just saying it's possible. I'm probably a small percentage of a chance. I'm saying if it happens, don't be, like, super shocked or anything. But I really think
they only sent him to Dorne just to give him something to do. Because, as I said, I had not read those last books at that point. And then I read the books, and I was like, oh, he's totally in the Riverlands. Why do they have him in Dorne?
They should have just sent him to the Riverlands.
Was it fan service? Like, because Bronn is awesome, and Bronn's awesome. So they were like, yeah, let's do some other stuff.
I pointed that out in my video today. Bronn has approximately 20 lines of dialogue in the book. Do you know that?
No.
He has 20 lines of dialogue, and then I looked up the numbers for total screen time on the show. Bronn has been in the show approximately, about an hour and like 30 minutes, where Stannis and Davos have both been in the show for about like a total of 55 minutes. Like if you actually take all their scenes and put it together, it's like 55 minutes.
And that just shows like how he stole the show, because I would have put my hand on the Bible and swore to God that he was in the show like half the time.
I'm not jealous, Pac Mule. I'm just saying that a character with 20 lines of dialogue should not have more screen time than a character who is especially prominent in Dance with Dragons, who had a lot of dialogue in Dance with Dragons and Storm of Swords. I'm just saying. I'm just keeping it real.
Paul Masonette says that Tyrion would kneel if he thought he could benefit from it, and that's completely true because he literally says that in the books. Like he says, like not kneel, but in the same kind of aspect. He tells, he says to let people, if they kneel, let them go because they'll know that if they kneel to you in the future, that they're not just going to get killed. You can't just kill everybody. So that shows his mindset. Like kneeling is not the end of the world. It's a smart political move. So I'm with you.
Well, you can't kneel when you're 6 feet under. So that motherfucker dead.
So is Stannis.
No, he's only dead in the show. He's not dead in canon.
Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Oh, I think Stannis is going to die in the books eventually. I've always felt that. I didn't think he was going to survive the whole thing. I've always been more of a realist Stannis fan. There's a lot of like people that are like irrationally there's a lot of irrational Stannis fans you find on forums that are like thinking that like he can do no wrong, or, like he's done nothing wrong. He's done wrong things. I don't like Stannis because I think he's a perfect person. I like Stannis because he takes no shit. He pulls no punches. Like sucking up to him gets you nowhere. That's why I like Stannis. Not because I think he's the best, just because I just like people that are like that in fiction. So
Ricky said show Bronn owns Stannis.
Oh, I'm not going to deny. I mean, I had on my top 5 characters that are better on the show. Bronn was on that list. I think Bronn is awesome on the show. I like the actor. I think he's cool. He kicks ass. I like Bronn on the show. I'm not going to deny that. Like I said, I'm a realist. I'm not a go-go fanboy. I keep it real.
You do keep it real.
But the show did. It was a major character assassination on.
We know.
King Stannis of the House Baratheon. Let's get it straight.
I'm taking notes.
Let's see.
Is Drogo coming back? Ricky Hunt. Mary Mazdor prophecy. So wait, Ricky, what in her prophecy said that he was coming back?
I don't know. I've never looked into it. I haven't thought about Drogo in a long ass time, to be honest with you. I have not thought about that guy. He's been dead for a long time in my mind, and I don't think about him. So I've never looked into it. I'd have to look into it. I'd have to reread the prophecy. I don't remember Miri Mazdor's prophecy that well. So,
you know what's funny is like Ricky Hunt right here says Loras is the worst character assassination. Even Martin says so, and I just wrote down does show Loras own book Loras.
Well, I had Loras really high on my list. I had number 2. So
really?
Yeah, I think the show really fucked him over pretty bad. I mean, he's a badass in the books. He killed 2 of the Rainbow Guard trained knights just because they failed in keeping Renly alive. So I mean, he's a badass. He sacrificed his body to retake Dragonstone.
Yeah, he totally like beasted on Dragonstone. Like nobody even T-Baby, hey girl. Sorry, random. But yeah, he totally like went to Dragonstone on some epic rogue stuff and did his thing. Yes, he got stabbed and shot and burned, but he did the damn thing.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Loras. Look, obviously, I'm gonna put Stannis ahead of Loras on my list. Ricky Hunt. It is what it is. What's up, T? Yeah, so you got anything else?
Not at this particular moment. All it takes is a couple seconds to scroll up. Hey, Kraken! Hi, Kraken!
What's up, Mr.
Oh, my friends are
Kraken?
here. Tony toca trio tutti, baby. I'm using my accent.
Why'd you go Italian all of a sudden?
I don't know. I'm Mexican. I don't know why that happened. It just happened. I can't talk about Margaery's virginity anymore.
Well, see, Paul Masonette says, why can't Bookstance realize the Whites are the greatest threat and relinquish his throne to who he now believes is the true Azor Ahai, Jon Snow? First off, Jon Snow was never, like I said before, Jon Snow We know that Stannis is a man of law. Jon Snow does not figure into that equation whatsoever. Stannis doesn't want the throne because he wants the throne for himself. He wants it because he's the king by law. Jon does not factor into that because no one knows that Jon is a Targaryen, or he doesn't know that he's a Targ. Plus, not to mention the fact that Targaryens relinquished their claim to the throne and Robert usurped it. You don't, just because Dany isn't the true claimant to the throne because her claim was usurped. You don't go back and you can't go back and say that Dany is now the claimant to the throne. That being said, Stannis does realize that the whites are a threat, or else he wouldn't have gone up. He wouldn't have gone up north when he got the letter from the Night's Watch. He played the call, and he came up and smashed the wildlings, which we know that the Night's Watch need done so they can have control of the situation up there. So, that's what I'm saying on that.
You killed that, yo.
I'm just saying. Let's see.
Cracking up in my cups.
Okay, I wish they did stance differently.
Her cousins are backing her up. Okay, we got some Marge virginity stuff going on. T-Baby, I'll just catch you up real quick. I've already brought this up, and I'm sorry, but it's been perplexing me for a couple days. I don't understand if Margaery is a virgin or not, and if she's not a virgin, like how did she become unvirginized? Because she's always completely surrounded by people. Cersei sent somebody to seduce her, and they couldn't do it, and they ended up having to lie and say that they did it. But she was examined and shown not to be a virgin. So if somebody could just send me some information and help assist out. I'm not going to keep dragging it on, but for real, like, it's driving me crazy.
Let's see, Ricky Hunt says, will Aegon take the throne if Dorne and Golden Company are by his side? I think he's got a good shot, as George has said himself, that multiple people will sit on the throne. By the end of this story, I think Aegon could very well be one of them. What do you think?
Well, sometimes I wonder if, since Aegon's not in the show, if Dany will go to Dorne and get them on her side. I guess you could interchange them, right? It could be her or him.
Who, Dany and Aegon? They're going to be in conflict with each other.
Well, you're right, yeah. In the books, we have both. In the show, we only have one. So, yeah. Let me go back up to the question so I can read it in its entirety.
Oh, you just said, will Aegon take the throne if Dorne and Golden Company are by his side? I do think that it's a possibility. Like I said, because George has said multiple people will sit on the throne, and with the Golden Company on his side and Dorne, I mean, it's a pretty good force, especially with a dilapidated, the situation that's deteriorating in King's Landing. I definitely think it's possible.
He could, but I don't know if Dorne is really ready to bounce on King's Landing, because Doran is not angry at King's Landing at all, so far. So.
Who, Doran?
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's been planning all this time, this meticulous planning it's part of the Dornish master plan for revenge against the Lannisters.
That's true, but we haven't.
And they supported the Targs. They have a connection there. I mean, Dorne definitely has umbrance with King's Landing. I do think that they'll back, especially after Dany got. I mean, Dany didn't do it, or she didn't personally do it, but by rebuking or rebuffing Mr. Quentin Martell and refusing his offer, and then him dying, that's just going to further Dorne into Aegon's camp.
I'm sorry. Don Willi just said the show is written by Kneelers. So that just cancels out everything.
Yeah.
Everybody's a Kneeler. Kneelers are a lot of them. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. Focus. Sorry. But for real.
Yeah, Quentin was a victim, I think, of Dany's prophecy from Quaithe. Because she said, "Beware of the sun's son." I think that figured into her decision making. I also think that Dany's kind of shallow. And I think if Quentin was a hot piece of ass, that she would have jumped on that pogo stick in a second.
Sadly, I have to agree with that. I'm very sad about that, but I do have to agree with it.
If Quentin was Oberyn or if Quentin was Dario, she'd be riding the D train.
Yeah. The prime example of that is on the show when where'd they go to sack? They went to sack something like Jorah went off with Dario and Grey Worm, and then they came back and like Jorah shows up and he's like all bloody. He's like, "Look, we did it, we won." And she's like,
they went back to Astapor.
She's like, "But where's Dario?" And Jorah's like, "Really, bitch?" And then Dario comes up and she's just like, "Oh, okay, good, you're alive." I was like, "Oh, you're so petty."
I think his ass is dying this season.
I hope so. No, I don't only want him to die. I want him to be the harpy. Like, I want him to betray her in the utmost of ways because I'm tired of him. And Dario was in Deadpool.
Do you think, Tony Toka says, do you think Westeros will return to the Seven Kingdoms ruling themselves again? We kind of touched on that earlier, but I think that that's definitely a possibility. I think they could be going back to 7 autonomous regions, doing away with their system.
Yep, I say yes.
You can see hiking through with Steffi says, Quentin was an idiot. Sorry, Jerry, wherever you are, but he gave Tatters a letter for his dad to help him take Pentos when the sellswords collect. Now, I missed a lot in Quentin's chapters because I gotta admit, like his chapters were like NyQuil, so I didn't really delve into his chapters very much. So I'm not exactly a Quentin.
For me.
I'm not exactly a Quentin master, but
what was the question about Quentin?
It wasn't a question. She was just making a statement about how dumb Quentin was.
Oh, but he had good intentions. He wasn't dumb. Like, he really, from what he had been taught, if you had the seed, because there were other people.
What do we learn from Game of Thrones? Good intentions get you killed.
Man, that is so true.
Rob Stark. So yeah.
Stark's like that.
This is from William Barton. What will Marwyn's role in the books be? Do you think him and Quaithe have been communicating via glass candles? I definitely think that could be a possibility.
Yeah, great question. I'd love to consider that. Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, the seeds were planted with Marwyn and back in the first book. I don't think his name was brought up in season 1, but when Mirri Maz Dor said that she studied under him. So, this ties in. Yeah, she said she studied under Marwyn the Mage for like 5 years in Westeros or something like that. Something along those lines. So, I don't know. There's a lot of Maester conspiracies. There's some Grand Maester conspiracies. There's so much shit going on there. I want to know what's going on in the Citadel. I want to know what's going on. Is there a connection with the Faceless Men, possibly? Could this be an encompassing world conspiracy? I don't know. Do something. I don't know. But
if there was a connection with the Faceless Men, why would a Faceless Man be killing Pate to get into the Citadel if they had a connection already?
Well, I mean, maybe not a connection. I want to know. I want to know why the Faceless Men are there. Is what I meant to say.
Yeah, I want to know that too. Like, I'm so excited to find that out. Like, of my top 3 places I want to go next season, next book, Old Town / Citadel. Like, I want to see it so bad. I want to see what's in there, and I want to see a certain sand snake that we haven't seen yet. Not going to say any names.
Could it start with an A and ends with an S?
It might.
Or if you take the opposite, does it start with an S and then with an A?
It might.
Could the word Sphinx be involved?
It might be a riddle or a riddler.
But going back to the Faceless Men. Oh shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. It was a good thought, but okay. So we know that Braavos was a colony of I don't know if they're exiles, but they're refugees that were escaping from against the Valyrians, and they're anti-dragon. We know that the Faceless Men are anti-dragons. So that would in proxy make the Bank of Bravos anti-dragon.
Wait, you know that?
Well, I mean, we can infer that because, like I said, Bravos was built from people that were escaping from Valyria's dragons.
Well, slavery.
And the dragons.
But mostly the slavery. Right? No?
And dragons. But I'll be right back. Entertain them for a minute. I gotta grab another beer.
Okay. I'm going to grab a question. Let's see. Do you think Tyrion would betray Dany, and if so, how? TBH, no, I don't think he will. I don't think he came all that way to do that. I think after all he's been through and everything he's experienced, the last thing he's going to do is try to convince somebody to trust him and betray them, because I think now he's really experiencing the real him, like his real, what he really wants. Before it was what he thought he should do, what he was supposed to do. And now he's like, you know what? F my family, they suck. F King's Landing, it all sucks. And, you know, this might be somebody that's worth serving. And when you get to make that choice on who you can serve, it's not just, oh, this is the king, so you serve them because that's the king. I really feel like he's on his own little arc of, you know, being a better person. And for that reason, I don't think he will betray her. I don't. If anybody will hold it down to the end, I think it will be Tyrion. And I do not care for Dany's story, so that's saying a lot, because I love Tyrion. He is changing a lot because of things that's happened to him. Oh, Dany's 3 betrayals and 3 mounts. Tony Tep,
okay.
Such an awesome video for that. I would recite it if I could off the top.
Well, we know Meereen Mazdor is one. People think Jorah is one. I don't think Jorah is one. Meereen Mazdor is the one for blood. I think Dario is going to be one. I think it comes down to it. Dario will end up being one. I think the one for gold, probably.
Wait. Has she not already had one for gold? What was Jorah's betrayal?
Jorah didn't betray her. Jorah isn't one of the betrayals. I refuse to believe that Jorah is one of the betrayals.
You know what? I buy into it. I take it because he didn't care about her when he betrayed her. Like, he did not love her. She was just some shit. So I get it. I buy into that.
Yeah, Jorah isn't a betrayer. It's meant to be, you know, she's always bringing up, like, she's brought up like 40 names who could be betrayals, but I think Dario will be one for sure.
I hope he is, because I'm honestly just kind of tired of him. I don't want her having some person where she's just like, oh, he's just so hot, and I know I shouldn't be with him, but I have to because he's hot. That's just, maybe that's what ruined it for me, because I was just like, really? Like, really? Daenerys, really? All you've been through, like, really?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta read Last Winds of Winter. Looks like Tyrion is gonna use Daenerys. All right, T baby, I'm gonna check into it. I'm gonna reread it. I need to know these things.
Yeah. Quaithe. In Quaithe's little message, whatever, the one, you know, beware the Mummer's dragon, beware the sun's son. It says beware the lion. So Tyrion is one of them.
But also, so is Cersei and Jaime. Like, I think for me, that just meant the lion was the house of the Lannisters. Like, yes, they killed your family. Like, beware of them. Not necessarily like any person. And just for the same thing for Frog or Quentin, you know, the sun's son.
That one's a little more specific.
Was
because
it?
He's
what was so bad about him?
That's why
he only had.
I think George is showing that prophecies, the effect that props have on people, just like you know, Cersei of Maggie the Frog. Looks like we have Don Willi in the house.
Yo,
Is
Valmagolas.
it?
The Neil is real.
Oh my God! I was gonna go get my glasses because I was like, James. I didn't say this to you, James, but I was like, we should be like the rogue talkers and like wear sunglasses, like Don and JD do. But I didn't.
But then we'd be posers.
I'm okay with being a poser. I don't have any new ideas.
They're the rogue watchers. We are the watchers of the rogues.
There you go. We could be the posers on the wall.
Wow, posers
yeah.
on the wall, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I don't think just because I think that Jorah is not one of the betrayers doesn't mean I think he's a good guy. I like Jorah a lot better on the show than I do in the books. Like, I really don't care about him. What's that?
Why do you dislike him in the book?
I don't dislike him. I just don't really care about him.
He's just like he doesn't matter.
I mean, I think he matters. I just don't really like. I don't hate him. I don't love him. I guess maybe I like him more than I hate him, but I'm just kind of like whatever. Like if he died, I'd be like, eh.
Listen, Jorah is an idiot no matter what iteration you're talking about. You know, I mean, listen, you know, I understand that the dude is infatuated with blondes, like a lot of men are, but he just does a lot of dumb shit. And yeah, you know, in the books he's a little more creepy than he is in the show. I mean, but then again, we're looking at it from our modern perspective, where you know you trying to holler at some teenager when they're in your mid-40s. It's not a really good look right there. We're in the Middle Ages. You know, you got dudes trying to shack up with 12-year-olds and all that. And I'm like, but yeah, at the end of the day, dude comes off as an idiot, no matter which iteration you're talking about. But then again, that's what happens when you are Lord Protector of the Friend Zone. You know, the Friend Zone doesn't kneel, but Jorah really does.
We gotta remember in the books he's like this ugly, bald behemoth of a dude, hairy all over. I think that Ian Glenn, like, I don't know, seems as he's like charismatic. I don't know, he plays him.
No, he's completely sexy. Like, he can get it. Ian Glenn can get it. Like, I'm not even playing. He can get it, especially dressed in like his Jorah clothes. He's completely sexy. There's nothing unbecoming about him. I mean, if you're open-minded to like the world and men, and they're fighting, and they're a knight, and they come and save you, and you're just like, oh, I'm new to the Dothraki, and oh, do you speak the language of my homeland? Boom, you can get it.
Yeah, I just think he was a lot less child molestery in the show than he is in the books.
Yeah, I'd like to say I've never been that open to men. Like, so yeah, sorry. I don't quite feel, but you know.
All I said was he's more charismatic. She's the one that said that he can get it. I'm not saying that he can get it.
I'm not saying that you said that. I'm responding to what
you can get
saying.
Yeah. But you know what? I show first, and then when I went back and read the books, I like called my sister after I read that one chapter. I was like, Jorah asked Dany to marry him? Like, are you serious? And then he said he would like be her other husband, and she could like get another husband. I was done, but I was still like, yeah, he can still get it.
Yeah. So we have Paul Masonette saying, will Dany ever see the Iron Throne in person? Visions don't count. I think with the show's version of the House of the Undying, if they want to call it that, I don't call that the House of the Undying that she went to. But we did see a vision of her getting to King's Landing, standing over the Iron Throne, and it's snowed over. So I do think that she will see the Iron Throne.
What?
You don't remember that from season 2?
I remember that. And, yo, you know what? Speaking on Daenerys and her infatuation with Daario, I mean, listen, man. You know, Daenerys needs to rise up. She's too busy out here trying to be a trap queen instead of being a real damn queen. You know what I'm saying? Which is why she got this slumming around with Daario.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. And listen, she needs to learn. She ain't about that life. She ain't grow up in flea bottom like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like she need to save bad boys for the trap where they belong. You know, you're supposed to be highborn. What you got there slumming with sellswords and all that. You know, the more and more I think about it, there's a lot of respect that I lose for Daenerys for a lot of her decisions, man.
Well, just like a lot of teenage white women, man, they like the bad boys. They like danger, like trouble.
I mean, that is a natural affliction of young girls that don't know any better. It you know, sometimes it kind of can be a problem. Just because you don't know any better, like, it's exciting, it's fun. You got Jorah, he's like, look, I'm down for you, I got you, blah, blah, blah. And then Dario shows up, and he's like, yes, I'm beautiful. And look, I killed my friends. You should trust me. And she's like, yes, I trust you.
I mean, listen, you know, and that's why she keep on getting betrayed. You know what I'm saying? She out there too busy trying to be a damn trap queen.
So who all betrayed her? Let's count these out, because she's supposed to have 3 of every kind, and there's like 3.
Well, like I said, Miriam Mazdor is one for sure, and I think we're going to get 2 in the future. I don't think we've gotten any others yet. I know there's talk about Brown Blend Plum when he left or whatever, but I just don't view him as significant enough.
I really think there's something there. I can't put my finger on it. But there's something there with Brown Ben Plum. And then since I've been re-listening, like, there's other plums. Like, there's something.
Well, we just got to remember that there's 2 books left, and I think they're going to be more significant betrayals to Dany that haven't occurred yet. I mean, we got to remember the story hasn't ended yet. There's still 3,000 pages left to go in this tale.
Ooh, T-Baby, yes! I'm sorry. Cut you off. Look at T-Baby question.
Does this dude have a glass candle? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna agree with Kraken.
He doesn't need it.
He needs one. I mean, look, it's possible.
He is a damn candle. He's a walking candle.
That dude is a walking corpse. I mean, yo, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. You know, just his whole connection with this story. So I want to know if there's ever gonna be any time where we actually see his whole thing with how he actually got to the wall and what the hell happened to Dark Sister. Yo, but you know what? I think it's possible that that Quaithe has Dark Sister and might give it to Daenerys, or at least knows where it is, and might tell Daenerys to get it and bring it back with her.
Pause. How does Quaithe have Dark Sister?
Oh, because I think Quaithe is Shiera Seaslar.
So you believe that she's Bloodraven's ex-lover?
Yep.
But
possibility.
The last time we saw Dark Sister, it was in somebody's face, right? Oh, they found it, so they took off the face, and then we don't know where it went from there.
Nah, Bloodraven had it
until he went to the wall, so we don't know if he took it with him or not.
Yeah.
So he might have been like, "Look, girl, I'm about to go to the wall. Here's my sword. Hold it for me.
Hold it down, son. Hold it down."
Or he could have been like, "Look, I'm out. I love you, but I'm peace," and like take his sword and just go to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Aemon Targaryen probably has it. The freaking Maester.
I don't think.
I doubt it, because I mean, he would have given it to somebody. Because what's he gonna use it for?
Well, you know, in all his fever dreams, he would have said it. He would have been like, "Look, especially when he found out about Daenerys, he'd have been like, Sam, go to my bunk and under my second pillow before the 4th layer of straws, and there's a Valyrian steel sword under there." Like, he would have said it, you know, like in all his madness. I think he would have came clean if he had it.
Okay, you know what? I have a question for you guys, and even for you people in the chat room. Do you think Valyrian steel can actually kill White Walkers, or was that just something made up for the show so it would look cool?
Seems like a pretty big plot point for it just to be like kind of like a throwaway like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, But I mean, who knows? I think so. But like I said, it's such a with all the stuff we've seen in the TV show, we don't know how much of it is diverged from the book. So we just kind of that's why, and it's kind of a good thing, really, because it leaves suspense to happen when you read the books. With seeing how different it's going to be, you're still going to have that kind of like reading it for the first time sensation all over again. So, yeah, I'm just taking a wait and see approach with that whole situation.
What's a dragon blade?
No, I mean, well, I guess they're saying. I guess Eric Flores was saying anything like there's the whole thing about they don't know how Valyrian steel was made, and people think it's made by dragon fire.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think we're probably gonna find out that it's like dragon fire plus regular steel plus dragon glass.
I mean, I think
Valyrian steel.
I think it has to do something, or else they've been building up these Valyrian steel blades for no reason for 5 books. So I think it's got to pay off somehow.
Yeah, that would be so messed up though if like they had almost the same scene with Jon trying to kill a White Walker, and the next thing you know, the damn blade breaks.
Tune in next time to see how he gets out of these wacky situations.
Yeah, be one of those Batman endings from the 1960s.
Yeah. I don't know.
I see a good question.
Please get the one's winner out sooner rather than later.
Okay, before I say this great question, I would just like to say I'm completely excited to finally be on the same page with people. Like, we're all together. Nobody knows what's happening. And I feel privileged and honored to be a part of that. F you guys that read the books before the show. I don't really mean that. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Okay.
Well, I mean it, F you guys, because, whatever.
Yeah, I didn't read.
Oh, there's some good questions in here. James, do you see them?
Man, I've been drinking.
Who will wield Dawn?
Now, will Dawn become Lightbringer? That's the question.
Dawn, Lightbringer. Boom.
I mean, well, then the question remains: if Jon is a Azor Ahai reborn,
Did you say
does that mean that he will have 2 swords, Lightbringer and also Longclaw? I mean, listen, we need somebody with 2 swords just to be a super badass warrior. Why not Jon, right?
Yeah, some dual wield action.
Did y'all see the alleged leak video of the fight scene at the Tower of Joy?
Yeah, which, like, at first I didn't think about it because I was just like, oh, shit, they're actually doing it. Then when I went back and looked at that again, I was like, wait, hold up. But he ain't supposed to have 2 swords, though.
It really messed me up.
What was it right there?
I was like, why is he fighting with 2 swords? It completely blew my mind. And then later I saw reports or articles or interviews where they say, like, they changed some aspects of the Tower of Joy. So I was like, maybe that's one of them?
Yeah, see, that's one of those aspects where they're just trying to make things cool.
See, I told you the show was written by kneelers.
But do they mention Dawn in the show?
They do not.
They say sort of the morning, I'm sure, but
Yeah,
no mention of the
I think they even said sword of the morning.
Whatchamacallit, Joffrey mentions it when he goes through the White Book, when he's, gigging on Jaime right before the wedding.
That's right. Lightbringer has only been brought up once in the whole show.
Yeah, and that is the introduction to Stannis.
Yes, quite possibly the most important blade has only been mentioned once, and it was like the first time Stannis was on the show back in season 2.
Like I told you, written by kneelers.
Yes.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Show-wise.
Yeah. T, I think there is video. I haven't seen it, but I did hear of this video with Arthur Dayne fighting with two swords.
Saw it. And dude, it totally looks like Bean. What's his name? The guy that plays Ned Stark?
Sean
it looks
Bean.
just like Sean Bean. Like his mannerisms and everything. Like you can't even see his face or anything, but you just see like the way he moves. I'm like, that's Ned Stark. And then the dude filming it is like, get him, Beanie. Get him, Beanie. Get him, Beanie. And I was like, that's Sean Bean. But the dude he's fighting has like double swords, and he's like doing this double wieldy thing. And then a random person runs up, Howland Reed, and like, you know, it makes sense. Like Howland Reed comes up while Ned's fighting him, because how else are you going to defeat Arthur Dayne? So Ned's fighting him, and then this other guy comes up and kind of just like slices him or whatever. That was spoilers. I'm sorry, guys. I should have said that way before I went into my rant. But anyway. But it makes sense that Howland Reed is the one that helps. That's why they were the only two that survived, because they kind of jumped Arthur Dayne. But in the video, he's got two swords. Like he's on some katana stuff.
Oh, you know what? Big Kev 619 SD was asking, how many eyes do I have on my head? So let's see here. 4, 6, 8.
1001.
Hold on. You know, let's look inside of here.
Oh, there's extra. Oh,
yeah, I got like, you know, like 16 or something like that.
It's too much.
There's like 16 eyes if you count everything inside of here, and then the logo on the back, plus the front, plus the glasses, plus the not glasses, all that stuff. You know, so yeah. You know.
You're a pretty cool cat.
Yeah. You know, and I got tacos on the brain. You know.
Kind of looks a little that's Deadpool-y there, correct? If I make sense.
Yes, it is. Oh, just so you guys know, Deadpool does not kneel. Word.
He does not kneel.
Yeah, I got to deal with my dogs for like 5 minutes. So you guys, I trust you guys on my channel.
Oh, it's about to go down. We're gonna talk so much about Stannis. Go ahead. Go on.
Hey, don't be talking shit about Stannis. I will watch this back.
Yeah,
Going down.
It's good. It's good.
I'll be back in like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another thing about big ass.
How much does Stannis suck?
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I totally love Stannis.
Yeah. Oh man. So, you know, even though this is gonna be a couple of seconds behind, how is everyone doing tonight?
Oh, I need to refill too. BRB.
Well, it looks like this has become, you know, another edition of Rogues. But, you know, I'm the only rogue here. Anyway, yeah, man. So, man, does anybody have any Assault of Ice and Fire questions for me at all? Christina doesn't get to answer anything because, you know.
I have a question.
Nope. Healers don't answer questions.
I'll save it for next time.
Oh, man.
Newer form.
Yeah. Nah, it's all good. Nah, you can ask Christina some questions as well.
Can I ask my question too?
Oh, yeah. Ask away, my lady.
So, is Peter Baelish a pedophile or not?
Well, see, you got to look at the context of the story. In the context of the actual story, Peter Baelish is not a pedophile. If you're looking at it from our modern day perspective with the current laws and rules, then yes, he is most definitely a pedophile. Now, if you ask me, is he, you know, kind of a creepy, stalker-ish dude? Then hell yeah, and it doesn't matter what time period you're talking about. You know, that translates no matter what time period. And AU Pack Mule, my favorite character is actually Peter Baelish. You know, Why? Because dude is a schemer, and yeah, just look. I like the low key characters who aren't overtly trying to beat you in the head for power. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy goes out of his way to do things, and it's like he's basically gained control or will gain control of like 3 different regions, and he hasn't had to lift a sword, not once at all. So,
And even if he tries to lift a sword, people are like, "Come on, Peter." Like, no, not you. Anybody else. They're just like, he's like, "I'll raise the Knights of the Vale." They're like, "Yeah, no, you're Peter Bailey. Just sit down somewhere." Like, he just has whole
but
power.
the thing about it with him, right? If you look at his whole thing, is the one thing that I would say that they got right about his character in the show, as far as his motivations, and something that they actually put in that wasn't in the books, is his scene in the brothel where he's talking to Roz and the other chick, and he's like, "Yo, I'm not gonna fight him. I'm gonna fuck him because that's what I do."
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
my
"Yo,
fight. Yeah, that's how I win.
yeah." So, um, whatever.
Wait, Ricky
Why does
Hunt
he want
said,
the tapestries?
well, no,
You
he
know,
gave those to the Royce dude.
Yeah. Look, he's trying to prove something. I'm not exactly sure what it is that he's trying to prove. I actually have to go through A Feast for Crows again because I can't front. That wasn't necessarily my favorite book out of the series, but yeah, I gotta go back and just read more of that stuff.
I literally hate that book, and I'm rereading it right now, and I'm just like struggling through it. And that's why I know that he got those tapestries to give to one of the Royces, Bronze young Royce, I suppose.
Mm.
And he was like flossing them and like, yeah, these tapestries used to sit in in the king's house and blah blah blah. So he like gave them as a status symbol
Mm.
to one of the Royces. And I mixed the Royces up: Bronze Young, Tong Young.
Mm. Yeah. Listen, I have no idea what the Tattered Prince wants at all.
I would like somebody to answer that for me because I have no idea. Like, I would
Yeah,
love to know.
like he wants Pintos, but I have no idea why. Like there was a time where I thought that he could be a Targaryen descendant, but that's kind of been thrown to the wayside for right now. But who knows with that? Let's see. Will Peter Baelish rule? You
Rule?
know what?
Peter
I
Baelish
mean, I
what?
think. Hmm?
Will he rule what?
No, I'm guessing he. I'm
Oh,
guessing AU
will
Pac
he?
now. Yeah. Look, I think he.
I don't
Nah,
think he wants
nah,
to
nah, nah, nah. Like I
PBH.
said, like I've said this many times. I think after the whole thing with the White Walkers, I'm thinking that's like the only thing that he doesn't believe in, right? So, like, I think that is the only, like, not the only, but one of the very few things that he has not planned for. You know what I'm saying? So look, I mean, I'll throw it out there again for those of you who have not watched my Peter Baelish predictions video. I think that he's going to get startled by the White Walker threat. It is going to start collapsing all the stuff that he's doing. He's going to run back to the Vale. By that time, Sansa will have learned about what he did to her father. She's gonna wind up telling what's this kid? She's gonna wind up telling Rob and Aaron, like, hey, yeah, this dude killed your mom, blah blah blah, and then Peter Baelish goes flying out the moon door. That's what I think happens with him.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm giving a 15-minute warning, guys. We'll be going off air in 15 minutes. So we
Okay.
will, yeah,
Last call. Last call.
Yeah, I should have, I should have probably already been asleep as it is, but
hey, whatevs, right?
I had a question.
Yeah,
Got it.
So let's do some rapid fire questions here.
Boom, boom, boom.
What if Baelish knows about the White Walkers?
I don't think he does.
Yeah, I don't think he does either.
I don't
know.
He does.
I also don't know if he'd care. I don't know. Well, I don't know.
No, I think he'll care when
he'd probably care.
they actually start marching south. But I think that is like the one big thing he has not planned for at all. I don't think he believes in magic.
Let's see. BR, Bloodraven, Quaithe, Makaro, Mel. Do any of them have contact with the other? I would guess that Makaro and Mel might have had some dealings with each other, being both Red Priests. And, of course, Don Willi, if you believe that Shira Seastar is Quaithe, obviously you believe that those two, Bloodraven and Quaithe, at least, have been in contact with each other. What do you guys think?
I can't go into the whole Bloodraven Quaithe thing. It surpasses my level of theory. Tinfoil, like I have a certain level. Like I maintain at a 12, and that's like my 20. So I just don't go there.
But I don't think that Quaithe and Bloodraven have contact currently. I don't even think that Bloodraven knows that Shira Seastar is Quaithe. I think something happened and they severed their connection long ago, and I think it has to do with the fact that I think it has to do with Melisandre.
Mm-hmm.
I think Melisandre is Bloodraven and Quaithe's daughter, and Bloodraven is not currently aware of that.
Oh my God, that is so deep. See, my scale stops at like a 12. You just went up to like 55.
That's I believe Yolkboy made that theory pretty prominent.
Serious?
Yeah.
Really? Oh, I've never heard that one.
Bloodraven and Quaithe had a baby.
Or that he believes that Mel is the daughter of Bloodraven because only like 4 people in the whole books are described to have a heart-shaped face. Bloodraven's one, and Mel is one.
No, I think you're talking about Shira Seastar as one.
Or Shira Seastar is one, and Mel is another one.
I mean, because let's look at it like this, man. You have Melisandre, who was sold into slavery, and then became a priestess to the Red Temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'm thinking happened is some time ago, Shira Seastar and Bloodraven, part ways for whatever reason. She decides to leave while pregnant, maybe not knowing that she was pregnant at the time, goes over to Essos, gets captured, gets sold into slavery and separated from Melisandre. She escapes, but doesn't know what happened to her daughter. She goes on to be Quaithe. Melisandre goes on to be taken to the Red Temple of the Law and becomes a priestess. So
right on.
That's my theory on it. Could be totally wrong.
Let's see. Pack Mule says, "Will Cersei die this season?"
No. Cersei makes it like very close to the end.
Oh my God.
I think she's one of the characters that, her suffering and her downfall need to be long and steady. People are going to want this to be drawn out because they're going to want to see this this downward spiral, and if you just kill her off, it's not going to have the same impact as if you have her experience even more. Because look, Tommen still needs to die, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she needs to go into her super ascent into madness after that, and there's the whole possibility of her burning down King's Landing.
That's a pretty high probability.
Yeah, so now if you ask me, will Tommen die this season? I would say it's possible, but I think they'll wait until season 7 to kill Tommen, like maybe towards the end.
Because they're kind of going, kid per season. We had Joffrey and then Myrcella, and it just works out that Tommen dies this season.
I mean, yeah, I get it, but I think it would be better if they kept him around one more season. Because remember, Daenerys still has to even be on her way to Westeros, and to me, I don't think she's even going to be on her way until the end of this season.
But we don't need a Lannister on the throne for her to come.
No, I get that, but I mean, I'm just talking about in terms of like for the power vacuum that's going to be left. I don't think they're going to want to leave like almost an entire season with a power vacuum with people fighting over King's Landing and there being no monarch at all.
I actually feel like that would be the perfect time to do it.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but think about it like this, right? You kill off Tommen, and then, like, there is no heir to the throne legitimately yet.
Great question. Who's next?
So that's what I'm saying. I think that they wouldn't do it until Daenerys is on her way already, because I don't think that they would want it to be a thing with no one sitting on the throne, or at least no one being viable for the throne immediately.
Okay.
Like in the books, you could always say, okay, Tommen dies, then legitimately the next heir is Stannis. Whether he's been fighting against the crown or not, if Tommen dies, then legally the next person who should sit the throne is Stannis. In the show, Stannis is dead, so you don't have anybody legally there that people could be like, all right, well, this is what it is. We got to get Stannis now, whether he's been at war with the Iron Throne or not. So I think that they would just do that. And mind you, I don't think that that Daenerys is ever going to actually sit the Iron Throne. I think after the whole war with the White Walkers, she's just going to be like, yo, you know what? This hasn't been worth it. Drogon, let's go. We out.
Is she going to break the wheel?
No, I don't think she's going to break the wheel. I think the White Walkers are going to break the wheel.
I think sarcastic.
I think all of the stuff from the past that that people have been, all the stuff from the past that people have forgotten about in the modern story is going to get brought back, and that's the thing that's going to wind up breaking the wheel, because they're going to find out it's like, yo, you know what? This isn't how it was supposed to be, So yeah, that's my take on it.
Well, I have a question on that. So show-wise, we're just going show. What we know on show. And we know who's dead already, including Myrcella. And if Tommen dies, who's next? Who's going to sit the throne? Like, what's next?
I think there's going to be a period where, they're sitting there calling great council meetings and all that, and
so who's calling them? Who's calling the meetings? Who's in the meeting?
I think man, I think
Jack Ratchet ass council that she didn't gather together.
I mean, look, I think it's gonna wind up being like the Tyrells, Cersei, and maybe Dorne, like calling a council, but
now,
it's gonna be.
I'm on the show version.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On the show, I think it's gonna be the Tyrells, Cersei, and Dorne calling a council and trying to figure out something, and but before anything can get settled, it's going to be like, yeah, remember those ice monsters that you guys, kept on fucking around about that? Like, well, they're here now, so we don't have time to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
And that makes perfect sense. Like, it all comes crashing down. There's no one king, and then look, the zombies are coming, and it's the end of the world. Let's get it together. And they all actually have to band together to survive. as if a real apocalypse. Is this a zombie apocalypse story?
Well, no, I mean, listen, I'm calling them zombies. They're not really zombies. The White Walkers.
But for real, like, is this like?
It's more of like a hive mind story. George has always written about hive minds, about people losing their own minds and being controlled by others. But that being said, we have 5 minutes left.
Oh, countdown. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, James. I forgot about your countdown. I'm sorry.
No, I just had something planned here because Mr. Don Willi is wearing a Deadpool hat.
I didn't have sex.
I thought for the last 5 minutes, because I'm assuming all three of us have watched the movie Deadpool.
I totally watched the movie.
We'll give a brief review.
Let's do it.
A little bonus Deadpool review for the folks. Christina, give your thoughts first on Deadpool.
Why do I always have to go first because I'm a lady? But I totally loved it. Love, like #love, exclamation point love. Like, I loved it. My husband was like, he felt like some of the jokes fell a little flat sometimes. And I was like, yeah, they totally did. But I like expected that because it's Deadpool. And I just felt like from the advertisement that I felt like it was going to be over the top. So I was kind of prepared for it. And when some of them were just like not hilarious, I was like, it's fine. It's okay. On to the next one. Next joke. I feel like I was just swiping through jokes. Mm-hmm. And the action was awesome. The story was awesome. Like, I have nothing bad to say about it. The only thing bad I have is like what my husband thought was bad, which I didn't feel was completely bad. The whole, oh yeah, okay. So I didn't really care for the fact that like at the end he like pulled off his mask and he was like, look, you love me. She's like, yeah, we didn't really need that, but it was cool. Aside from that, I loved it. I'm taking my kids tomorrow. Don't judge me.
I mean, hey, listen, I watched rated R movies when I was a kid.
I watched it first myself, like as a screening, before I took them.
That's all good. I mean, yeah, what's the crazy thing for me? Like they talk about how the budget wasn't really that big for this movie, but I think they did a great job of making it look like a big budget film, even though it didn't have like the crazy hundreds and millions of dollars that a lot of these movies get. But I think the fact that they didn't have a really big budget made them really focus on the story and making sure to get it right. I mean, as far as accuracy from page to screen, this is probably one of the best translations of any character. And finally, they got Colossus to look like fucking Colossus instead of the bullshit they've been doing. I mean, and they got his character right.
Yeah, and he had like the epic Russian accent. He's like, no, Deadpool, don't do that. I mean, my accent's, but you know.
Yeah, but I mean, I like I said, I like the fact that you got the feel of who Deadpool was, how he breaks the fourth wall. Like, the funniest part was like when he's about to walk back to his apartment and he's, breaking the fourth wall, and then he goes back into breaking the fourth wall inside. He's like, fourth wall breaking in the middle of a fourth wall break? That's like 16 walls.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that was crazy. But just the fact that, the attention to detail with his character and making sure that his personality was accurate and just the things that Deadpool would do were accurate. So I definitely have to give them props on that one. And, look, this didn't have the most complicated story of all time, but it didn't need it, though. It was a basic story, but it was told in a very unique way that made Deadpool feel like Deadpool and not just like, oh, okay, this is another X-Men movie or another kind of superhero rip-off movie, So, yeah, I hope that the other writers take note of what they did here and try to follow suit, And yeah, Ricky Hunt, Deadpool is Azor Ahai,
No, he's a third-headed dragon. He's a Targaryen.
You know, look, he wears the red and black.
Exactly. Oh, he's a Blackfire, and that's why he covers his face so nobody knows. Boom.
But
That's
yeah,
oh.
yeah, I was gonna do a Deadpool review. However, my video editing equipment malfunctioned, and then it got to the point where it was too late to even put one up. That being said, this is what I'll say about the movie. I believe Jake Cruz asked the question, did the trailer give away all the good jokes? On the contrary, I'd say they had all the good jokes. They put some of the... I thought... Because when I watched the trailers, I actually thought that I wasn't going to like it, because I thought the humor in the trailers it didn't hit for me. And when I watched the movie, though, I had a perpetual grin on my face for about 95% of the movie. Bottom line, it was just a fun, great time. The humor was meta. I thought it was well written. I thought it was smart. And I thought the non-linear storyline really lent itself to the story. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if it was linear with how simple the plot was, really, that it would have probably been an issue. But since they made it non-linear, it really engaged you. I thought everyone played their characters great. Ryan Reynolds embodied Deadpool to a T. And I liked what was that guy's name? What was the Indian cab driver's name? Do you remember?
Dopinder.
Yeah, Dopinder. Dopinder was my favorite character. One of them anyway, and it was just all around a great fun time. I recommend it to anybody. It might not be for you, but if you just like some rated R, actual rated R, and it's a hard R. It's not a soft R. I wouldn't take like your 3-year-old kids or your like 5-year-old, 6-year-old kids to it anyway. But that being said, it's just a funny movie. Bottom line. I'm trying to stretch it out for Christina to get back so we can sign off here. So I guess we can.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as the budget is concerned, $58 million. Like that is like, about half, or maybe even like a quarter of a lot of these newer superhero movies. So it cost $58 million, and so far it's made $333 million. So yeah.
I can tell you the next one will have a bigger budget.
I mean, what's the crazy thing now? There could be a possible drawback to this, because now that they were able to make this kind of movie on this budget, you might see more up and coming superhero movies where the budgets start to get smaller like this. Because I'm thinking Ant-Man probably had a bigger budget. Let's take a look at the numbers on Ant-Man and see what was the budget on that one and how much did they make off of it.
The budget was
$130 million for Ant-Man. And if you think about it, like look at the scale of Ant-Man versus Deadpool. I mean, like they, other than the whatchamacallit, the I guess the CGI stuff, it didn't even look like it didn't look like they were too much, off scale compared to each other. So yeah, that was pretty interesting that Deadpool was made for like less than half the money that Ant-Man was made, but they kind of looked like they were in the same. They look like they were about the same scale in terms of budget, though.
Well, supposedly the director of Deadpool, Tim Miller, owns one of the biggest visual effects companies, and they did a lot of the work for free, is what I heard.
Who is that?
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, but I will say that Tim Miller, this was his first time directing.
I also heard like the budget was.
Yeah, well, it was his first time directing a movie, and I think he did a phenomenal job for a first-time director. Bottom line.
Yes.
First time directing a movie, but he had other writers that have written on other things, and the writing, I think, had a lot to do with it.
Well, it didn't hurt any, that's for sure. It was great writing. Like I said, the meta humor was awesome. I love all the fourth wall jokes, and it just was a great movie. But so yeah, We went 5 over my 15-minute warning. But that being said, yeah. Look, I had a great time. This was out of the blue. I was planning only on doing this for like 30 minutes to an hour, but I don't know.
How long has it been?
It's been like 2.5 hours or something like that. You know, you get drinking and you get lost, and you know, time flies when you're having fun. Don Willi, I guess I probably should have had you from the start, but
So good.
next time I do an impromptu, I'm just gonna hit up everybody and see what's up. But yeah, so
I think I was actually asleep when you started this anyway, though.
Okay.
That's bad. Who woke you up?
Nah, you guys didn't wake me up. You know, listen, I woke up, and you know that's what happens.
It's life.
So yeah, let's do the send-offs and maybe plug if you got something coming up, Don Willi, you can plug it, and yeah, let's get the show on the road.
You know what, ladies first.
All right. You know who it is. Christina the Sphinx. And you know my story. You know my saga. If you don't, click on my name. Subscribe. You'll see it. It's coming.
Winter is coming.
No, literally, winter is coming. Via my channel. Boom.
Yeah. Listen, you already know what's up with me. Sunday, another epic battle of ice and fire. Another special guest for this one. I'm gonna leave that one to be a surprise. You guys are going to be blown away. Yeah, you guys are gonna be blown away by this one. And you know what? Either Monday or Tuesday, I'm gonna be back on the regular profiles. I've been having to do a lot of reading for those because I got some couple of more background characters. But yeah, Oberyn Martell is coming. Osha is coming. Quentin Ball is coming. You know, and I got a few more. I keep on forgetting them. You know, but yeah, for those of you who have been waiting on profiles, they are coming. But yeah, Sunday. Oh man, Sunday is the one. You know, and I think I can only go up from the one I'm doing on Sunday, at least hopefully. But yeah, you're gonna have to wait to find out about that one. I'm not spilling the beans.
All right, well, that's everyone. Check that out. The Don Willi's link will be in the channel in the description. I'm sure you're subbed to him anyway. But that being said, I came out with a video today. Actually, it was a "Did you know" video where I say some random facts about characters that you know. Let's see. This audience not geared for you because it's actually geared more towards show watchers. I kind of wanted to point out some interesting facts about the characters that they love that they might find interesting and they want to get into the books. And then I'm planning on coming up with a video tomorrow or Sunday, just some random video, whatever comes up in my head, probably some top 10 list or something. And then next week is the What's the Difference Dorne. And there's some differences, people. There's some differences. And that'll be with Christina and Tinker Jaso and Jerry the Steamboat Targaryen. So be on the lookout for that. So that being said, guys, I'm happy that I think I had close to 20 viewers at one point, and that's pretty good for just randomly throwing this up on you guys. So yeah, I appreciate it, everybody. Thanks for sticking around and making the chat great, and thanks for all your questions. We'll see you next time.